Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, and we are live today. I feel like I have to say Happy New Year because there were so many pre-recorded over the holidays, but we are actually here today, and I'm so excited to see you all. And wait till you see the project for today. Of course, May's on with a great crafting tutorial, and I know a lot of you had the Sublimation Printer on your Santa list. And I saw a lot of you in the comments. Julie said she got one. She was working on holiday stuff. My sister just sent me photos of what she's working on. So May has a great project for us today. So say hi, say where you're from. It's so nice to see you all, and Happy New Year. All right, May, Happy New Year to you.
Hi, Happy New Year. It's so good to be here and back. We've got a super dark and rainy day outside, but that's always to me like license to craft. Just stay home and craft.
Isn't that the truth? In fact, I was just posting on YouTube prior to the show. It's supposed to be a massive snowstorm today. So I love those. As long as I don't have to go far. My office is 1 mile away. I could walk if I have to. I'll enjoy the snow. You enjoy the rain. In the meantime, you've got a really fun tutorial, and the Sublimation Printer has been top on a lot of people's list.
You know what? And it's so much fun. And the thing that I'm loving about it is as long as you follow the simple rules, which if you didn't see it in December, we talked about that. If you'll remember, we talked about setting it up and the paper, and we discussed like all of the do's and don'ts. Like, no, you can't use your iron. Your iron's not hot enough. You will need some kind of a heat press. But go back to the December episode if you didn't see that, because we walked through all of that stuff. Today, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm using photographs, because we can actually import photographs into Artspira and then take our pictures and turn them into, I mean, really whatever you want to turn it into. There's so many blank surfaces that you can source for sublimation now.
I love that. You know, do you ever notice, May? Now you use photos way more than I do, and that's why I always love your show every month, because I get so inspired. So many of our photos live on our phone instead of in the old days where we print them all out, and I still have boxes of those as well, but I think this is going to be a great opportunity to save memories in a different way.
It is, and there's a lot of ways that you could use that for sure. For example, I'll show you here. My daughter was horseback riding, and I turned it into a coaster.
Oh, that's cool.
She wanted the picture just of the horse's face, so we've got that, and she's just kind of in the background there, but it's super easy to do. Oh, and I can see, all right, yeah. So one of the things that the printer does is every so often, so one of the things you're supposed to know about that, and there's a note about it in the box, is you're supposed to always leave it plugged in, because every once in a while it like self-cleans and checks on itself. So if you hear that little bit of whirring noise, it's talking to itself. It woke up, and it's telling, and if you ever hear it and you look, it says, "I'm cleaning myself. Do not put paper in the manual feed slot."
Oh my gosh, this is going to be like every time we go live, or not every time, but quite often, or you go on to a live session, there's an update. So, May, does that mean we have to come back to you in like 10 minutes?
You know what? I don't think it takes very long. I think it's just a minute or two. It checks in on itself. But I'll tell you, there have been times when I'm alone in the house and all of a sudden I'm hearing noises. I'm going, what is that noise? What is that? It's just checking itself. Yeah, it's already done. It's already done. It's awesome. Only a minute, but hey, it wanted to show itself off, right? It wanted to show, and that's actually why you're supposed to leave it plugged in. And that's actually why I have it where I have it on a shelf here in the studio, so that when we go live, it can pop up on the desk. So it never has to get unplugged. It's always just within reach of its cord. And yeah, I was saying, so there's coasters, and there's, you name it. I've seen earrings. I think just today on Brother Social, I saw earrings being done. You could make t-shirts, tote bags. I'm going to show you today specifically, I'm going to show you a little zipper tote, and we can see my little puppies are on there.
Oh, so cute.
My little puppies are on there. So little zipper tote. So I'm actually using this for them. This is their little on-the-go treat bag. So when we're in the car and doing stuff and I need a couple of treats, they're in the little bag, little zipper bag. So there's lots and lots of different stuff we can do here. It just depends, like, what do you want to do? You know, like here's another one. Actually, if we go down to the desk view, I'll show you.
Oh yeah, I'll bring you over
here.
Oh, so that's cute.
So the little birdie, and then I went and added glitter and rhinestones and things. So you can add things. You can then you can take your sublimation and then add scan and cut stuff. You could add jewels, you could add stitching, whatever you want to do. The key is with this sublimation is that you have to start with a sublimation blank. So whatever you're starting with, like this is a sublimation blank zipper pouch. Or the coasters, they were for sublimation. So that's the only rule we have to follow is whatever we're doing, we've got to do it on a sublimation blank. So remember that. And then I'm going to bring up my tablet here and we're going to hop into Artspira. Okay. And we're going to do new. So down at the bottom, we're just going to press new. We're going to do printing. Design editor. And it's going to pull up all of these sizes. We just want the default, so that's fine. So this is going to pull up, this is our screen. So this is showing us, think of this as our piece of paper. What I'm going to do is go to camera roll. So instead of printing data, and it's saying, hey, is it okay if Artspira uses your photos? Of course. Okay. And it's pulling up pictures. As you can see, the tablet doesn't get pictures. The tablet just has pictures here for Artspira. So I have different pictures of my dogs. And I even have, so this one that I used and that we'll use here, I used a photo editing app to remove the background. That's something if you do a search wherever you got Artspira on your phone or your tablet, right? There are different photo editing apps, or sometimes your smartphone on its own has editing features. This was just a default that you could do is remove all the background. And then if you push down at the bottom, there's different options. I'm just looking at size. So that's about 3x4. You know, if you want it bigger or smaller, you can either touch the button or use your fingers. Once you're done, though, you just click OK. And print. And down at the bottom, it's going to tell you it's sending. And then it'll tell you transmission is complete. Okay. And that's it. That's all you got to do is have a photo that you want to use, print it, and then from here, what we would do, and I'll show you when it comes out, is from here we would trim it. And then one of the really important steps is to tape it down. So there is heat tape, and it's popping out here. Here we go. Whoop, already done. Popped right out, and we've got our buddies all ready to go. It's so fast, this printing. And I will tell you this, for our live show here, no, I am not filling up this paper. But normally when I do sublimation, like I've got my little birdie here, I've got a bunch of little sublimation things that I've printed out from Artspira, because I tend to put multiple things on the paper because I don't want to have my sublimation paper, and I can't run this. I guess I could try, but I really don't want to try to play the game of which end of the paper did I use, which end am I going to use next time. It makes more sense to just, if you're going to use multiple things on a paper, go ahead and print them all out on the same paper and waste less paper. But that's our sublimation. That's a good
idea, May. Because it's just one. Will you just explain a little bit about the paper? Because I do know a lot of people are saying, is it just regular paper? Does it come with the machine? Does it come with
it came with the machine, and then you can purchase additional Brother Sublimation Printer paper for the machine. When you feel it, you can kind of feel it. It has, the one side feels more like regular paper, and one side has almost like a film on, almost like a, it reminds me of some art paper I used to have that had kind of almost like a clay finish, it has a different feel to it. And so when you're touching it, you can feel it, but you don't even have to go that far, because Brother has a notch. On one of the corners, there is a notch. And the reason for that is there's a specific spot when you load the paper. The notch is supposed to be, I believe it's right there. Let's take a look. Yeah, the notch is supposed to be in this bottom corner.
Oh, yeah. Let me make that a little bit bigger there. Okay. Well,
so it's kind of, it's hard.
Sense.
Well, I'll show you the notch here. So there's a little notch here. And when you put the paper in, you're supposed to put the paper in so that that notch is in that corner. And by doing so, that's making sure that the paper is loaded correctly so that it'll print on the correct side, which obviously you want. And then the sublimation, what happens is we take the paper, right, the special paper with the image printed, and we cut it out. And it's up to you if you know exactly. I think it depends on the image too and what you're going to put it onto. But for example, if I'm putting it onto a tote bag here, I'm going to center it or put it wherever it is that I want it on the bag. And then I'm going to get tape, the heat resistant, the special for sublimation. It's okay to run this through heat tape because I think we all know what happens if you have tape that's not supposed to get hot and you get it really hot. It's going to melt. Whatever you were trying to do, it's going to be ruined. Your heat press is now going to have melted tape all over it. It's not going to be good. It's going to be a very bad thing. So you have to make sure it's the heat resistant tape. And actually I have some here, so I'll show you. It's just kind of, and actually maybe we can do both and do on the desk too. So you can see you just are trying to tape it down. And this one, if you're like, well, it's all wrinkly. Yeah, because it's already been through the heat. So this one's already been through the heat. So it already knows, or it's already been used up. But you want to tape it all up so that everything is really firmly pressed on here. You don't want any wiggle. And this is something we talked about last time, and I'll show you guys if I think I do. I have an example. The reason you want it to be this firm is because if you don't, what we're going to have is a blurrier image. So you can see a lot of blur on this side. It's not sharp. It's not crisp, especially if you compare to this guy. You can see that it's kind of blurry. The lines are kind of blurry. That's because this was not taped down properly. So during the process of the heat press getting pulled up and put down, it wiggled. And, you know, with the sublimation and the process of that ink transferring and getting into the fabric, that meant that it became blurry. And it's not a big deal. I'm gonna do some hand beading and do some decorations here to make this work for me. But you obviously, generally speaking, you don't want to have that. You want to have it nice and sharp and crisp, which is why we tape it down. Now, as far as the heat press goes, there's lots of different ones. Some of them are portable, some of them are not. Some of them are, like the one I have is an enormous machine in the next room, and you have this enormous lid and you pull it down, and it works for sublimation, it works for vinyl, it works for all of that. Same with all of them. And you're just going to want to look at the heat settings. And no, I see the question about the heat press. So this is why we're talking. This is not a Brother product. There's a lot of different ones, and there's not a wrong answer. It's going to depend on you, your space, your needs. There are some that you can put the mat out and pull it out, and it's small, and you just, on your desk, just press real easy. There are other ones like mine. It's a big, giant thing, and it needs dedicated space and a really sturdy table to hold it on. The iron will not work. The iron is just not hot enough. So I've always gotten away with an iron.
That was the next question I knew was coming. Can I use an iron? So, and you know what? Heat presses have really come down in price.
They have.
Because there's so many home crafters now.
They have. And the thing to think about on that is just how much are you doing, but also size. If you're just doing little projects, you can probably get away with, there's some really little ones. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a bigger project, that little one, you're just going to have to press a bunch of times. So after it comes out of it, after you just press it, lift, and then you're going to peel. So we'll do our reveal here. So we've got our tape, which is going to want to peel away.
Oh my gosh.
And you're going to see we have our puppy dogs, and we have, of course, and it's interesting because I can see all the ink removed, and I can see like how much more pale this is, but it comes out so cute.
That's adorable. Oh my
And I
gosh, your
mentioned
dog.
before, I mean, it doesn't have to, it could be whatever kind of project you want. Like there's the picture with the horse on the coaster. So I liked that because I thought I could put this in here and I could have that memory sitting here on a coaster. That would make a great gift as well. A set of coasters with different pictures.
So May, just a quick question for you on those coasters.
Sure.
Did you have to do anything special to get the photo on there? Or how
No,
did
it's
you
all the exact same. So
Really?
all of it is exactly the same. You're starting with a blank that is made for sublimation. The only difference with some of the fabric versus some of the hard material, the coasters did not, but some of the things like coasters, some of them will have a protective film that you have to peel off.
Okay.
That's the only thing to check. Keychains, I know we did like keychains and ornaments last time. Some of those have a protective film you need to peel off before you expose the surface. Other ones don't. So it really just depends on what you're working on and what you've got, what you're working on, and what the surface is.
So
it just has to be sublimation, and you do the exact same thing. Heat press, tape it down, heat press it, lift it off, and it's done.
Exactly. Not even the prices have come down a lot, but also a lot of people want to make a little money in 2024, starting up a little online shop or even just personal gifts. This is absolutely a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. Because you can do custom shirts. You could do custom tote bags. Like I'm thinking of like the family vacation stuff. And it's also going to be faster. So if you're trying to make a bunch of something that's all the same,
right,
instead of having to weed vinyl, instead of having to go through that, it's just going to be printed.
That's
and cool. The wearability, I think the wearability is even more on some things. Now, I'm not going to abandon my vinyl. I love my vinyl. And there's a lot of projects I want to do vinyl for. In fact, I'll give you guys can have the heads up that next month we're going to talk about sublimation and vinyl together.
Oh, I was just thinking as you're talking, there's this shirt. I didn't buy it because it was too expensive. And I should make my own, right? As you and I always talk about. So that print on a t-shirt or on a top, and then add embroidery on top of it, very similar to what you're talking about with the vinyl. Those shirts are so expensive. And now you can design your own.
Oh, yeah. And I was looking at that. And in fact, I was looking at how I would do, it would be the sublimation first, because you wouldn't necessarily want to do the super high heat on all of the stitching. Right. You'll probably be okay with the stitching, but you wouldn't want like the vinyl and the other things that the super high heat needed for the sublimation. You might not want to have some of those other things done that way. So what you would do in those cases is definitely sublimation first and then add. And you can get mixed media too. Like I was showing you how, I added ribbons and rhinestones and glitter glue and stuff to this. So if you don't want to stitch, you could always go to gluing things. We could always go to having things glued down, having things that we add ourselves. And it could get more complicated. I know his poor little birdie, his glitter's not really showing, but he's got purple glitter all over the purple parts.
He's so
cute.
Show
very well on camera, but you can add and change and do things. And that's the same for a t-shirt, same for a sweater. I know I was looking at if there was something I could do on a shirt, or even I've seen patches. So you could make a patch and then put that patch. If, for example, like this sweater is not a sublimation blank, but if I wanted to do patches, I could do sublimation patches and then add them to a piece of clothing that wasn't a sublimation blank suitable.
Hey, Patty has a good question on your coasters. Did you have a waterproof covering on those, or?
No, it didn't say anything about being necessary, because that's the other thing. Remember that the sublimation is made to the way that it goes, and the reason it needs a special material is it soaks in and it's there now. So if we get this wet, if we, I'm putting, it's not going to bleed. It's not going to have anything happen.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, oh no, I got some water on that, and wipe it off, because all of these are washable.
Oh, that's
all of
wonderful.
these, you think about like all the clothing and stuff, it's just regular wash and wear.
That's awesome. Everybody's saying they're so excited. They can't wait for the next tutorial. funny.
We're going to keep, I'll tell you guys, I know Brother has talked to me about keeping with sublimation stuff for the time being. So I'm excited to share more ideas with you guys because I think, yes, Anne wants to hang out. Yeah, we have some fun here. We do. We have some fun. In fact, I have some messes to clean up because during Christmas break, the girls took it over. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I did not leave a pile of felt and stuffing and thread from making my own stuffed animals for my friends over in that corner. That is the like read and cross stitch relaxing corner. That was not me. And then I'm looking over here at the pile of friendship bracelet materials going, I didn't do that either.
That's so funny.
Christmas break.
Everyone's like, could you turn your camera? I want to see your whole studio. And I'm looking around mine because I just got back from the little holiday vacation, and it looks exactly the way I left it. Unfortunately, the elves did not come in and clean, so I guess I'll be doing that all week.
I was thinking the same. I was looking around and going, darn, nobody, a lot of people crafted in here the last couple of weeks, but nobody cleaned.
Oh, that's so funny. Do any of you have any questions for May? Because this was a great tutorial.
Yeah, and I think it's so much fun that we can, if you want for picture-wise, what I would say is a simpler picture is going to be better. So in other words, like this is, just the three dogs, or this one is his head. I think a picture, if it was too much detail, like if we were trying to have a whole big scene and then make it tiny and then, well, you guys know how that goes. It doesn't always look as clean or look as nice. I think a simpler picture or a picture with either a more simple background or remove the background. It's like the dog picture. It wasn't bad, but you can imagine if we have just like concrete and cream and other just kind of boringness around and behind them, it's not as pretty of a picture as if it's just more focused on the subject and all. Let's see, I'll pull it up.
So Deborah, I saw your question about the heat press as well. No, Brother does not sell one, but if you message me, I know you're on my Facebook group, I can give you a link to one that I use.
Yeah, you can see how it wouldn't have been bad, but that gray kind of concrete color around them, I don't think would have been as nice on a final project. I think the final project looks better without that because then we'd have lines too. Keep that in mind when you're doing photos is, this one I decided I didn't care. I wanted the coaster, but the white lines are here because I couldn't get it to be square without either cutting a nose off or cutting her face off. I had to make some compromises, but that's something to think about is if you care if it's all the way to the edges of your project or not. That's something to think about for sure, because some like here's one that goes all the way to the edges, right? And that obviously looks really pretty. If it doesn't, again, it depends on what you like personally, especially for things like the little zipper bags. I would rather have an image versus having a random square or rectangle in the middle of my zipper pouch.
That's cute.
That's just something to think about. Like on a t-shirt, I'm kind of the same way. I would rather have like an image or a something versus just a box. But on the back, I think on the back, I'd be better with like a big image there. And that's the other thing for the photos. Remember, what is your photo quality? So you need to remember what is your photo quality. If you have saved, like let's say you go to social media, there's a picture you took, and you saved it to, it's not the original, you're just pulling off social, it's likely going to be a much smaller version because they don't save at full resolution. So if you're dealing with a very small image, or if you're printing it out and then doing it and you're going, this looks kind of grainy, it might be a photo quality issue. So remember, you want like the biggest, highest quality photo you can do. And I would also say, with our smartphones, especially, Angela, I'm sure there's from built-in to like very easy free apps that you can do just to brighten the colors up or sharpen it up a little before you print it. Because remember, in Artspira, you're not going to be doing photo editing.
Right. You can crop them. You can make them whatever size. You can erase the background with just literally clicks of a button. So
yep, single click and boom, I had there were my puppy dogs without a background, and I went, oh, now I'm really excited. And
Those
I can
are
just
really
see, I'm just envisioning I'm just gonna be walking around with like my custom, like here's my dog t-shirt with my other dog tote bag to go grocery shopping with my with all of my other stuff.
exactly. So Patty wants to know, and Patty, you're so good. You know that we're not going to name brands, but a lot
That's
of
right.
the paper and stuff you can buy from Brother. I don't know about the other things though, May. Any advice
So
on
the
that?
paper, I know the paper gets purchased from Brother. All the sublimation blanks, at least so far. I don't know if Brother has plans, but I know so far it's whatever blanks you would like, whether it's from an online store. I know there's an unnamed online store that often has stuff to me same day or next morning, which gets a little dangerous when I get an idea and they can have it to me today. But as long as it is made for sublimation, regardless of the brand, I can tell you the big box craft stores in town here, they have sections of sublimation blanks.
I've seen them at mine as well.
Yeah,
So,
and that's actually where I got the coasters. I was in for something else, saw the coasters, and went, oh my gosh, I can make coasters too.
So May, because there were a few people in here that a few people were asking, I don't understand. I didn't know I had needed a sublimation. There's the sublimation paper that goes in the printer, and then there's the product that you're going to put the sublimation printed paper on. So there's two different things. So it's just to make that clear, I saw a few questions in there. Do I have to buy all of this? No. But you do have to have the special paper in the printer.
That's correct. So we need our paper that goes through the printer. So the printer, and the closest I can think of, if you're familiar with vinyl crafting, then you're thinking of like, this is your think of this as like your vinyl, right? The printer paper goes through and that's what actually has the image on it. But then you need something to put that on. So whatever blank that might be, from a t-shirt to a tote bag. I know we've talked a lot about different ones. There's keychains, there's earrings, there's ornaments there. I mean, I've got some tea towels and some puppy bandanas for soon. I found puppy bandana blanks for sublimation and I went, oh boy.
That's going to be
we all know that that's happening.
Absolutely. And yes, there are designs in Artspira as well.
Yes. So with Artspira, you can I showed you today how to take a photograph, pull it in Artspira, just click, 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 print whatever size you want. You could use, and that's what we did last month, was using built-in designs in Artspira to print out. And there are a lot. I know the little bird actually all the designs that you saw today from me are from Artspira, except for photographs. So there's lots and lots. I mean, every time I just was in there yesterday and I found a whole bunch more that I need to do.
I love it, May.
It's addictive. You get going in there and there's just so much that you could do, so much to see. And then you could also, along with your photographs, you could also bring in image files. So you could also, it would just be the exact same as a photograph. You're just bringing in a picture file to use in that way. So it might not be a photograph. It might be like more of a graphic design, or maybe you used an app and made your own custom something somewhere else and you want to bring that in, you can.
Custom something.
You know what I mean? There have been times where I'm fooling around on one of the apps and making my own little logo or my own little something.
Oh, yes.
Maybe it's Christmas is past, so maybe Valentine's or something, and I doodle around with it and then I think this is cute, but what would I do with it? We can make whatever we want to make with it now.
That is so true. Yes, you'll be able to watch the replay. Hey, Tammy. So if you're on Facebook, so if you want to just click right now, you can probably see the button share it to your own page. That's the easiest. The next easiest way is to go to YouTube and watch all the videos on YouTube. You can go back, but hit on the live button on YouTube. And then you can go back and see May's last tutorial as well. Awesome. Well, May, this was a great tutorial. I'm very excited. And I know there's a lot of people that have this, the new printer, and they're like, what do I do with it? And you just gave us a lot of inspiration.
Yeah. And now that we've gotten the base, right? Now that we've done two different, and remember, go back to the December show too, because we talk about all the getting started, getting it out of the box, the ink, all of that. So now we've got these two shows. Now we're going to get a little funkier next time. We're going to mix and match with the scan and cut.
That sounds awesome. So everyone, go back and watch the last episode if you'd like. There's been a couple of other sublimation printers on there as well. If you just got it, go through there and check out what's there and download your Artspira app. There's a free version and a membership version, whichever one suits your boat. But I have to tell you, speaking of printing, I've been I don't know if you see behind me, I've been using the Print Moda, and that thing is just as addictive, which is printing fabric. So Brother has given us a lot of options to be super creative in 2024.
Definitely. And it totally depends on you and what you want to create. And Angela, like you said, if you're thinking about, boy, I'd like to, maybe start a little side hustle or get a little extra income, this is definitely a great tool because of how high quality everything is and how great everything comes out. People love it.
Thanks, Anne. Somebody said, what printers? This is the Brother Sublimation Printer. And Brother Social Team, if you could put a link to that. It looks like Deb is on Facebook. If you could put a link there for her to find that printer, that'd be great. You can also go to brothersews.com and click it in there as well and find out. So, and don't forget to support your Brother dealers because it's the beginning of the year, and I know they always have special deals after the holidays as well. So fill your room with fun Brother stuff. All right, May, look forward to next month. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I can't wait.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.